It's getting cold again, which means it's time to put on the lovely cashmere. I love cashmere. There are certain pieces that I wear almost all year round, especially because the summer in the UK is typically quite mild. Now, I have bought some expensive things for my wardrobe, but cashmere is one of the few things that is absolutely worth having in any wardrobe. However, with so many different brands offering cashmere at different price points, it's hard to know which one to purchase. So in this video, I'll be comparing cashmere from 7 different brands. I'll be covering things like how these pieces feel, how they hold up over time, and whether if they are worth the price tag. Let's start with Uniqlo, which is the one I'm wearing today. This one is about $100, and considering cashmere is a premium fabric, I'll say this is a relatively low price. I think this is a fantastic option for anyone who is new to cashmere and looking to build a timeless wardrobe. For the price point, I'm fairly happy with the quality. This is very lightweight, warm, and quite soft. However, this is not the softest or the most fluffy compared to the other pieces in this video. The difference is subtle, but if I put two pieces side by side, I personally can tell the difference. Another small con about this cashmere is that the collar feels a little stiffer. I wouldn't say it's scratchy, but I'm definitely more conscious of it compared to the collars on my other pieces. Before I go further, I just want to say the key criteria for a good cashmere is that it should feel lovely and soft on bare skin, especially if you want to maximize the value of your cashmere. This is why I don't buy alpaca pieces because they always feel scratchy and itchy on my skin. Whereas with cashmere, it's something I can wear all year round. In the winter, I'll wear a thermal layer underneath my cashmere jumper. But in springtime, I often wear my cashmere on its own, so it sits very close to my skin. This is why choosing a good quality cashmere is incredibly important. I cannot stress that enough. Anyway, back to this Uniqlo cashmere. In terms of thickness, this is not overly sheer. I would say this has a medium thickness, which is great for everyday wear. That said, the cashmere is not amazingly dense. In fact, if you look closely, you can probably tell that the knitting is just a little bit sparse, but overall, it does keep me quite warm. I've had this Uniqlo jumper for several months, and during that time, I've been trying to wear it quite consistently, and so far, I haven't seen any peeling, which is great. So all in all, even though this is not the softest cashmere I've tried, it does have amazing value for money, and because of that, I think it's a really good starter piece. Now, if you like Uniqlo anyway, and you're looking for a jumper or a sweater that you can wear for years, then I highly recommend you to go for their cashmere rather than their merino wool pieces. I have one right here, and honestly, this feels a little scratchy, and the material is also not as breathable. After this video, I'll be decluttering this. In fact, earlier this year, I've already decluttered all my merino wool pieces from Uniqlo. Now, the cashmere is about twice the price of their merino wool pieces, so it's a bigger purchase, but I personally would recommend saving up a bit longer and maybe having a smaller collection as well. Moving on to Marks & Spencer, I have a few jumpers from them. In fact, they were the very first few cashmere pieces that I invested for my wardrobe. They do cost a bit more compared to Uniqlo. This one was about $120 and I bought this years ago. But I wouldn't say that the quality is better. I'm not sure what it is, but the fabric just doesn't feel as breathable. Now, this is not the thickest cashmere, but when I wear it in the early springtime, I always feel a little too warm. Whereas with my other cashmere pieces, I can very comfortably wear them across seasons. So essentially, this is warm and cozy for the winter, but overall not the most wearable piece. Something else I've noticed is that after a few washes, the cashmere doesn't feel as soft as it used to be, which is why I don't tend to reach for my Marks & Spencer pieces anymore. In terms of wear and tear, I haven't seen a lot of peeling, which is great, but that's probably because I don't wear them as much. Regardless, I don't think this cashmere will age very well because even though the peeling is minimal, I can already see a bit of stretching around the collar. So taking everything into consideration, consideration, I wouldn't recommend Marks & Spencer as your first choice of cashmere. Moving on to John Lewis, I have several pieces from them. They do cost a bit more compared to Uniqlo and Marks & Spencer. This one, for example, is one of my favorites, and I believe this was about $170. But again, I bought this years ago, and I would say overall the quality is a step up. The material feels very lightweight, but it's more substantial compared to the cashmere from Uniqlo and Marks & Spencer. I also love how soft the cashmere feels. In fact, the main thing I love about the cashmere from John Lewis is that they get softer over time. For example, this one is one of the pieces that I wear the very most because I just love a good simple black jumper. So you can imagine I have washed these several times, but the fabric only gets softer and better. And because of that, I keep reaching for it. Another wonderful feature about this cashmere is that it has held up amazingly well. There is no stretching around the collar, and this sweater has also retained its shape incredibly well, which I'm really happy about because I want to wear my cashmere for a long time. There is a little bit of peeling, but again, I've had this for many years, and during that time, I've only had to take care of the peeling ones. For me, that is impressive, especially considering how much I wear this. So for me, this is absolutely worth the money, and I highly recommend it. Next one is Aqua Cashmere. This brand is often found in department stores like Bloomingdale's, and the price range is very similar to John Lewis. When you wear Aqua Cashmere, the first thing you'll notice is how smooth and supple the material feels on your skin. I bought this years ago in the US, and I remember wearing this there, and it was the very beginning of September, so it wasn't chilly whatsoever, but this felt so lovely. So that tells you how breathable this material is. I really love how soft and gentle this feels on the skin, but to be honest, I bought this mainly because of the design, because I thought this looks so cute and fun. At that point, the quality of the cashmere wasn't exactly my top priority, as crazy as that sounds, but I very much appreciate it now. That said, over the years, my taste has changed quite a bit. I now prefer very plain jumpers, but I'm still keeping this in my collection because I actually wear this as my Christmas jumper. Now, if you find plain sweaters a little boring, do look into this brand because I've seen some really cute designs. This stripy jumper, for example, looks really chic and timeless. Next one is Lily Silk, and no, this video is not sponsored. I'm only here to give a very fair comparison between different cashmere. So Lily Silk is a mid-range luxury brand, and their cashmere ranges from about $160 to $300, depending on what you go for, because the thicker cashmere does cost more. In the last few years, I've been wearing their plain cashmere jumpers a lot in my everyday life. The cashmere is incredibly soft, lightweight, and breathable, and I think they are great for layering as well. And considering how much I wear them, the peeling is surprisingly minimal. So overall, for me, the price point is very fair. In the past, they used to focus on silk pieces, but I can see they now offer a really good selection of cashmere pieces in different thickness. Now, if you're just starting out, I really recommend going for a very simple jumper in a medium thickness. I personally live in the most part of the year, but if you're looking for more variety, then I really enjoy the shearer cashmere by Lily Silk. I really enjoy wearing this in the springtime and also early autumn. I like that this keeps me warm without looking too chunky or heavy. However, because of the sheerness, I do have to wear a tank top underneath, and some of you might find that a little limiting in terms of wearability. The next one is Goelia. Now, I have worked with them before, but they're not sponsoring this video. The thing with Goelia is that they don't offer a very extensive selection of cashmere pieces, but with the few pieces I have tried out, they are wonderful. The cashmere is incredibly supple, light, and gentle. It's the kind of cashmere that really makes you feel pampered every time you wear it. In my opinion, their cashmere feels more expensive than what they are charging, which is something I don't often say. Anyway, this cashmere dress from Goelia has quickly become one of my absolute favorites for the colder seasons, and I've been wearing it so much. This feels so cozy to wear, and I love that this looks very put together on its own, but it's also perfect for layering. Unfortunately, I don't think this is available anymore on their website, which is really a shame. I also really like this cashmere cardigan from Goelia. This is so beautifully made, and the stitching is really neat and well done. I've been wearing this a lot this summer because it has been raining a lot here. Now I know I've been talking a lot about cashmere jumpers in this video, but I think everyone should have a cashmere cardigan because these can be so handy, especially in between seasons. Now these Goelia cashmere pieces are relatively new in my closet compared to my other cashmere pieces, but so far they've been holding up really well. The peeling is minimal and I haven't seen any stretching. Last but not least, we have Club Monaco, which in my opinion is the higher end luxury brand. I have a cashmere cardigan from Club Monaco, and this one is definitely the most expensive piece in this collection. I bought this about 10 years ago at about $500 plus tax. Now this one is definitely not a light cardigan. In fact, I sometimes even wear this at the beginning of winter. So this is designed to keep you warm, and because of that, the cashmere is a little bit thicker and more substantial. I remember the first time I tried this on, I was blown away by the softness of the cashmere, and I bought this without any hesitation. I absolutely love the oversized design. I think it looks really classy. Not only that, every time I have this on, it really feels like I'm covering myself with a very cozy blanket. And considering how long I've had this and how much I've been wearing it, it has held up incredibly well. There is a bit of peeling, especially in the areas where I sit, but otherwise the wear and tear is quite minimal. In fact, with proper care, I can see this piece lasting for a lifetime. So what's the takeaway from all these comparisons? In my opinion, cashmere is worth every penny. There's no question about it. I wear mine so much that the cost per wear is basically minimal. If you're just dipping your toes into the world of cashmere, then Uniqlo and John Lewis are both very solid options at a budget-friendly price range. I also really like Goelia cashmere because their pricing is very reasonable, especially for the quality that you get. You can definitely go for the higher end luxury options as well, like Club Monaco, but I personally think there are more than enough wonderful options around, so you really don't have to restrict yourself to only the very high-end luxury brands. And remember, the key to getting the most out of your cashmere is proper care. I've done an entire video about how to care for your cashmere, so make sure to check it out. I hope this video is helpful. Thank you so much for being here. Take care, and I will see you soon. Baby, you and me,